Good evening, members. I request the members standing to kindly settle down so that we can quickly begin with the second seminar. The second seminar today is on about the code of ethics, and we have the best person to speak about it, the Central Council member and the chairperson of the Ethical Board Standards of ICAI, CA Priti Savla ma'am with us today, and also CA Nihar sir, the past president of ICAI. Now I kindly request CA Shreyansh Dedia to kindly introduce both the speakers.
Good evening, members. Welcome back. Ideally, today my role is not required because both the speakers require no introduction. Still, formally, I'll introduce both the speakers. So we'll start with CA Nihar sir, qualified as a chartered accountant in 1984, designated as senior vice president in Reliance Industries, now providing consultancy to Reliance Group and organizations of private and public sector in direct tax, international tax, mergers and acquisitions, FEMA, restructuring of business. Is a senior partner in NN Jambusaria and Company, Chartered Accountants since 1984. President of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India from 2021-22. Vice President of Institute from 2021. Member of Central Council member from 2013 to 2022. Member of Professional Accountants in Business, Advisory Group of International Federation of Accountants. Chairman of WIRC from 2004 to 2006. Member of WIRC from 2001 to 2006. President ICAI represented ICAI on International Integrated Reporting Council in 2021-22. Designated as Vice President of SAFA in 2022 and President for 2023. Contributed as member on board of South Asian Federation of Accountants, which is SAFA. Served as member of SAFA Committee on Professional Accountants in Business. Served as member of Government Accounting Standards Advisory Board under CAG. Served as member of Audit Advisory Board under CAG. Served as member of Board of IRDA as well as Insurance Advisory Committee and Apex Committee of IRDA. Served as member of Primary Market Advisory Committee of SEBI. Designated Chairman of Accounting and Finance Services Sectional Committee of BIS. Nominated member on the Review Committee for BCom and BCom New Syllabus by the University Grants Commission. Served as Chairman of INDES of ICAI, INDES Committee of ICAI. Served as Chairman of International Tax Committee and various other committee. And sir, last one. He has organized and contributed, represented many national, international conferences, seminars, addressed more than 1,000 seminars on direct tax, international tax, finance, and economy. And the list goes on and on. So, with these huge accolades, huge designations that he has held over his tenure, request all the members to welcome him with a huge round of applause. Request our Deputy Convener, CA Aman Khandelwal, to present him a memento. And request our member, CA Vipul Shah, to present a CABF receipt, a contribution to CA Benevolent Fund. Now, also, we have a second speaker for the session, CA Priti Savla. Again, with a huge experiences and huge accolades and memberships. So, we are lucky that she is also a member of BCSE since inception, as well as Central Council member. She's having experience of about 27 years in the profession. She has qualified as a first social auditor of India, insolvency professional, DISA qualified, forensic accounting, completed forensic accounting and fraud detection, ICAI, entrepreneurship management from ISB. She is chairperson, Ethical Standards Board, ICAI, vice chair, members in Industry and Business Committee. She has been member of International Sustainability Standards Board, Advisory Forum in IFRS Foundation, chairman of SAFA Women Members Committee, member of SEBI Social Stock Exchange Committee, Governing Council member, BSc, chairperson WRC in 2019-20, committee member, Chamber of Tax Consultants, BCS, etc. She is public interest director in NSE Clearing Limited, independent director in several large listed companies including Sun Pharma, IRB Infra, Vadva Constructions, Epcotech, etc. She is on governing board of HSNC University, MMK College, founder board member, Mumbai Skill University, Ramji Asar partner, Mumbai University Ramji Asar partner at KPB and Associates. Contributed articles in various professional journals and been speaker on the topic of professional interest at various forums. She has been adjudged various awards including parliamentarian. With this huge accolades, again I request all the members to present a huge welcome to our esteemed members, CA Priti Savla. Request CA Deputy Convener, CA Aman Khandelwal to present memento. As well as requesting our past convener, CA Vipul Shah, to present our receipt for CA for contribution to CA Benevolent Fund. Now request CA Nihar sir to commence the session.
Good evening, everybody. The Central Council member and chairperson of Ethical Standards Board, CA Priti Savla, Deputy Convener, BCSC, CA Aman Khandelwal, past convener, CA Vipul Shah, core group member, CA Shreyans Dedia, the other core group members and members. In fact, the main batsman is CA Priti Savla. I will be just giving some highlights of some of the recent developments in the changes that are made in the ethical standards. And I will share with you some of the experiences, live experiences at that time of the disciplinary cases where our members made some mistakes and what kind of mistakes, what were the disciplinary proceedings, and very briefly some of them I will try to cover during the short run that I have to take. Now first let me congratulate the Ethical Standards Board for adopting, for converging with the International Ethical Standards 2024, that is the most recent one. I remember the time when we were converging the international standards with our standards, but it was not of very recent past. Sometimes it related back to 8 or 10 years back, and we used to lag behind. Whereas now with the new volumes of the code of ethics, covering and converging the ISBA standards of 2024, we are most current. Again, for a number of years, we were feeling that our ethical standards are not at par with the changing time. And there are many restrictions which are required to be lifted. And that is what ESB has done recently. Many of the requirements have been waived, and I will mention a few of them which are very important for all of us. Like the new standard for ethics, standards for sustainability has been introduced. In the recent times, I think sustainability is becoming as important as accounting. And when the governments refer to bottom line with reference to triple bottom line, profit, people and planet, that is linking our accounting activity with the sustainability, standards for sustainability were required, and now they are being incorporated. Again, some of the restrictions which were there earlier, like educational audios, videos, podcasts, mentioning firm name, mobile number, email ID, physical address, which were not permitted earlier, are now permitted. This gives a lot of liberty, and the time when we started practice, the promotion was only mouth-to-mouth publicity, which our clients used to make, and we hardly used to mention what we do and what is our expertise. But in today's time, even educational videos that we present, it can carry firm's name, physical address is allowed, email ID can be mentioned, which were all prohibited in the past. Then the meaning of write-up has also been expanded. When some years back, the firms were allowed to have their write-up, or even the members, that write-up had very narrow meaning, like very few of your activities you were able to mention in the write-up. Now this meaning has been expanded, and it will facilitate members to project what they are doing. Then again, website guidelines, pull and push technology is allowed for non-exclusive services. You know what is push and pull. Like whatever you mention on website, if somebody wants to refer, they can visit your website and pull the data. But you are not allowed to push it to their email ID. Now for non-exclusive services, that is other than auditing and certain other services, you can by push method also send this write-up and this information to your clients. So which again is a very good step. You can also now mention your peer review status, the level of your AQM, that is audit quality maturity model, where you test by answering the questions what is your maturity level, and if it is high, you want to mention it, you can mention it. And again, affiliations and clients' names you can mention on website. So these are some of the liberalizations which have been made. The meaning of management consultancy services has also been expanded. I think when she speaks on the new standards and the ethics in detail, she may cover this for the benefit of members. So I thought I will mention it. Only one point which I would like to draw your attention to, which she may repeat also, that NOCLAR, which was applicable up to, which was not applicable up to 250 crores limit, that limit has been removed now, and NOCLAR will apply to all listed entities and their material subsidiaries. So I think this is restrictive, and one will have to be careful that NOCLAR, that is the certificate that all laws have been followed, will be applicable for all entities which are listed and their material subsidiaries. Now let us come to the task that has been specifically given to me, and it was sharing of experience at the disciplinary committee. So during my 9 years tenure, I had 2 years membership in the disciplinary committee. I was as a member, and 2 years as the presiding officer, one as vice president and another year as president. And during these 4 years, I gained lot of experience on what members practically do, sometimes miss out, sometimes they intentionally do, and then disciplinary actions become inevitable. So let me deal with some of those cases which were peculiar. Now, one default which members generally make, those who are in audit field, when they get new audit, we are all aware that we are required to communicate to the previous auditor and obtain his NOC, which if he doesn't give, specifically it is his choice. You wait for the required number of days and then you can undertake the audit. And it was observed, I don't know what is the current scenario, but when I was on the DC, I observed that in a number of cases the complaints came from the previous auditor that the next auditor did not seek NOC or did not even communicate. So this is something which members should not miss. It is mandatory. During those days, if it was for the first time, we used to take liberal view. We only gave warning and leave the member. But if it was for more than once, if in the past it was done and again it is repeated, then punishment was given. So this is one of the very important requirements, basic, and where members err and they suffer. So they should be very careful. If you are becoming auditor of an existing company or enterprise, you should not forget to communicate to the previous auditor and ask for NOC. Then many of the cases were in relation to giving false certificates. Now this was a default which member knowingly committed. Knowing that the certificate is wrong, the member thought that there is some difference, let me give this certificate, and ultimately when somebody suffered because of this certificate and complained, it was a very serious situation before the disciplinary committee, because this amounts to connivance with the client in wrongdoing. So it's a very serious kind of default, and one should not certify what is wrong and which you know. And of course now with technology, it is very easy to verify with the help of tools whether the figures are correct, and with the help of documents verify and then only give certificates, otherwise one may face dire consequences. Then many of the chartered accountants were found to be retaining books of account of client in an unauthorized manner. They used to tell the client, pay so much of fees, then I will release, or put some conditions subject to which they will release the books of account. Now when client sent books for audit purpose, auditor does not have authority to retain it after the audit is over and the report is given. Till the time you have to verify if books are taken. In most of the cases now, the method of auditing has also changed. Sometimes they give online access, many times we visit the client and audit, and there are several ways in which it is done, but in the past, retention of books of account beyond reasonable period after completion of audit was one of the defaults which came to notice. Again, many chartered accountants, not in Mumbai particularly, but in smaller areas where number of tax audits are there, and they take up tax audits beyond the permitted number. They don't complete audits on time, and when client complains, when penalties are levied, that the auditor did not complete audit on time, it leads to a situation which again is serious and punishment cannot be avoided. So particularly in Mumbai, we did not find many such cases. Here, normally the members take up audits which they are able to complete on time, and even if there are delays, it is on account of client's failure to provide information or documents, but not on account of negligence on the part of auditor. But this is again one area which one should very carefully see that you don't violate. I think before I go to some of the other cases, I will mention one case where you know what is happening today, that member is right, but still at NFRA or even within the ICAI, sometimes government nominee becomes very hostile and takes a view which is not correct view. I will give you one example. When Nirav Modi case happened in Punjab National Bank's case, where the SWIFT and the accounts were not connected, for a particular quarter where the limited review report was given, the transaction pertained to that quarter. But after the auditor completed review, but before the auditor gave report, the matter was highlighted in newspaper. And the auditor did not mention it in the limited review report of that quarter, but he mentioned it in the limited review report of the next quarter. Now, if you look at the standards on auditing, it permits that if the event has taken place during a particular quarter, but it comes to light after the end of the quarter, it is not even observed during the course of audit, then you can report it when you came to know. In that quarter, you can report. Now, when we were considering this, you know, there was, because it was Nirav Modi's case, and it was so much highlighted, there was a pressure from various corners that you must hold the auditor guilty because there is a huge fraud. At the disciplinary committee, 4 of the members who are institute's council members and 2 government nominees. One of the government nominees became hostile and said that when it was reported in newspaper, the auditor defaulted and he was guilty. He was in connivance with the bank, and that is why he did not report. Now we tried to explain to the government nominee that, see, if the auditor did not report at all, it would have been a different matter. But in the next quarter, when the auditor has reported, and this reporting is as per the standard on auditing, you cannot take such a view and hold the auditor guilty. So the government nominee started telling us, no, you people protect your members, you get votes from them, so for taking vote you protect them. So we had to tell them that the council member who is sitting on that bench does not belong to that region. For example, when I am on the disciplinary bench, I am never given bench of Western region. I can be heading or be a part of the member of the bench of the north, southern region, eastern or central region. So there is no question of my seeking vote and protecting the member. Then it was a huge fight. Only this point went on for discussion for 1.5 to 2 hours. And then we were able to convince the government nominee that you are not right and the matter is finally reported. You can't hold auditors guilty. And in this case, there were joint auditors, 3 joint auditors. All 3 joint auditors had signed, it was reported in the next quarter. So if they were held guilty, 3 audit firms would have suffered. So sometimes such things also happen. And then at the disciplinary committee, we have to fight and struggle with the government nominee, convince them, particularly because they are generally IAS officers. They have never done audit themselves, although they are knowledgeable. So some of the very nitty-gritties The smaller aspects, the finer points, they are not able to appreciate, and because of that it happens. Even at NFRA, some of the audits which are conducted by them, some of the reviews, we find that some of the views taken are very weird, but then it happens because there is no proper guidance, because of absence of adequate number of chartered accountants on the bench. Taking some of the other examples, particularly it was observed that whenever a client wanted a loan from bank, many of our professional brothers and sisters certified figures of investment in plant and machinery because it was linked to subsidy, it was linked to loan at a certain percentage, and the valuation, though the bills were available, the valuation was stated at higher figures, and many times such situations arose. And members must avoid this kind of certificate giving, because it leads to more difficulty when all this is noticed. And now in the era of information technology, the banks and others to whom we give certificate, they even cross-verify many times certain information. And it is not that like in the past some of the figures, some of the certificates are only for the sake of filing in the file. So these were also some of the observations. Some members wrote to Registrar of Cooperative Societies with a request to allot audit. Now, if you are empaneled member, you may personally discuss there that you are an eligible member, but you can't write to registrar asking him to allot you cooperative societies audit, because this is like seeking professional work which is not permitted even today. So this was also one of the defaults. Many of the chartered accountants were found to be liaising with the government departments for the purpose of seeking tenders. And when this information came in writing and evidences were presented, they had to suffer. I'll give you, like, these are the examples where members really defaulted. I'll give you example of another complaint which was totally false. The income tax department conducted a raid in the premises of a company, and the auditor of the company was a sole proprietor, and he was some R.K. Gupta. Now this is a common initial. They issued notice to another R.K. Gupta, also a chartered accountant, who did not appear and just mentioned that I am not the auditor of this company, so you have wrongly sent me the notice. Immediately the income tax department lodged complaint with disciplinary committee of the institute. And for a number of years, because normally the cases are taken in chronological order, the case was lying. And that person who suffered, because in his credentials also it was mentioned that a case is pending, so many times he would have suffered in getting professional work. So when I was there, he came and said that this is your bench case, and I am not the R.K. Gupta who really did audit of that company, and I am charged. I was given notice. I replied that I am not the member. Institute has written to me that you are held prima facie guilty, but hearing will be done later. So why don't you take hearing out of turn, ascertain whether I am the same person. If I am the same person, then again you adjourn the case and take when in chronological order my case comes. But if you find I am not the same person, why should I suffer this disgrace? So I called the disciplinary director. I told him that in this bench, this is the case, you take out and put it for hearing out of turn. Now, even at disciplinary director level, there is such a big fear. He told me, I can't take this out of turn. I will be blamed. Somebody will say you have taken money and you have put it out of turn. I said, I am giving you email in writing to put it before the disciplinary committee. So if somebody holds you responsible, you show the email that I put that email. I gave the email, the case was fixed. That person appeared with all evidences that the address is wrong, membership number is different, he is not the same person, and still the case is filed against him. And then after hearing it extensively, even the government nominees agreed that he is not the same person and he should not suffer. Out of turn, we must complete the case, put it on file, close the file. So we closed that case, holding him non-guilty. So these are also some of the experiences of the past, that many times such complaints come which are frivolous. Even the government department does not verify whether the notice is issued to right person. When the person says I am not the same person, still complaint is lodged. At DD level, director discipline level, they don't do proper inquiry in the preliminary inquiry. They put before the disciplinary prima facie guilty and put it in the file, and whenever chronological order it comes before the DC, member suffers. So these were some of the experiences. Other very serious cases which were found is some partnership firms were showing dead persons as their partner. The family members may not have informed the institute in those days that the member has died, and somebody knew information is not there with the institute. So signatures were forged, they were shown as partner, and on the basis of number of partners, they were allotted audits. And when C&AG came to know that these are not living persons, sometimes they informed the institute, sometimes the information came from outside. Of course, institute then made efforts to even correct the record to see that all these names are deleted. But then information comes only when it is given to the institute. So this kind of practices also go on. Some of the firms were found to be making retired persons as partner, who were 90 years old, 95 years old, and who were totally retired, who never worked for the firm. And when complaints were received, inquiries were made, that person said, I was asked to sign, I signed, but I am not a partner actually. So these are some of the incidents which are of serious nature, and I think ethics is something which lies within a person. Although our ethical standards are this thick, volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, then followed by use cases, that is case laws, I don't think these are required if we are very clear from within that I don't want to do certain things which are not permitted, which are not right, which are not ethical. And whatever was written in Bhagavad Gita and many other religious books, they are all coming true today. That all those principles, everybody wants to insist that professionals follow. If you see today's scenario, whether it is SEBI, whether it is RBI, they also want banks, NBFCs, all financial institutions to have their fair practice code. And certain points or certain requirements, they insist that it should be in the fair practices codes of these entities. So it is not only the institute, there are other regulators who also insist that certain standards should be followed. As chartered accountants, many times members feel that for a very inappropriate or rather meager fee, we are required to do so much of work, and many of the points sometimes skip attention. But it is a matter of your own protection also. If suppose you skip some of the points, ignoring, not verifying certain aspects of code of ethics, then we may suffer. And I would always insist upon the members that if you feel that you are not compensated enough, such assignments one should not accept. Otherwise, all these things one may be tempted to do. Like if you are not tempted to do anything unethical, at least you are tempted to ignore reading and complying with the provisions. Lastly, on independence, we found some of the cases where some members were director in a company and they were still auditing the accounts of that company. Now, independence requires that if you are director of the company, you cannot be auditor. Other cases where we observed that some of the CFOs, full-time CFOs, drawing remuneration of 2.5 crores, they were conducting on Saturday and Sunday audits of other companies. Now, if you are a full-time employee of a company, you cannot, you don't have a test function available to you. Still, they were taking full-time certificate of practice. They were signing companies' balance sheets and accounts, and institute put this restriction after thorough discussion that if a person is full-time employed somewhere, why should that person be restricted from carrying out audit? Because if he is full-time engaged somewhere, it is impossible to give the required time to audit. And many cases were found in the past when this restriction was not there, that most of the defaults in disclosures, in reporting, were done by those members who were in full-time service, and they were not able to do justice to audit. So one may remember that this is not permitted at all. Only those who are lecturers. Earlier there was a time limit of 25 hours of lecturing time in a week. Now the Ethical Standard Board liberally extended this number of hours from 25 to 35 hours. Since I was myself a lecturer, I remember the time when I was chairman here, and the institute came out with restriction that if you are in full-time employment, you cannot do the attest function. Those who were lecturers, they had full-time appointment, although their lecturing time was 2 hours or 2.5 hours in a day. So at that time, C.A. Kamlesh Vikamsi was vice president of the institute. I approached him. I showed him that, see, for so many hours only we lecture. And persons like Bansibai, Malegam Sahab and all these were lecturers. So they were doing it for passion, not for earning. So if you put this restriction, all those who are lecturing will have to resign. And he appreciated that yes, this restriction is too much. So he asked me, how many hours of lecturing time you have? So I said, if a person is head of the department, 16 hours in a week. So almost 2 hours and 15 minutes per day. And if person is not head of the department, about 18 hours. So he said, see, if the university extends this timing, it will be less. So I will propose to the president and we will put it in the council that up to 25 hours lecturing time be permitted. So in 2005, there was a circular that lecturers are allowed to do 25 hours of actual lecturing, and now it has been per week, and now it has been extended to 35 hours. So these are, I think, some of the aspects. There are many things that one may discuss because this experience of 4 years is, it is not possible to share in just a few minutes. And you have main session now where the code of ethics will be dealt with in greater detail. So it was nice for me to share these experiences, and I must thank BCSC for giving me the opportunity of a few minutes to share these experiences with all of you. Thank you so much.
So at the outset, thank you Nihar bhai for setting the tone and readily agreeing to be here. And uh, I know that outer limit is fixed. This has eased my job because outer limit is fixed 8 o'clock and you are already taken. So I have to now only speak that much only. And and I feel that all members are more important is practical proceedings, what is happening, and practical insights. Being as a president and the vice president as a presiding officer on the bench, as a presiding member on the bench, is a huge and immense experience. And what preventive, see, main thought process was what preventive measures one can take while in practice, because all of us will agree that code of ethics, when we have actually read or learned only during our CA examination, inter and final, and after that we don't know what is code of ethics, we have never opened the book also. Yes or no? And when actually something comes up, and then we are literally afraid ki what is there. And that is why when the study circle Pratik was coordinating, so then immediately I thought, Nihar bhai, if you are there, that is best part, and the sharing of practical experience is most important, where the members actually will correlate with the practice. And that is why thank you Nihar bhai for being there and always supporting us as a mentor and as a guide, and to all the members of study circle also. Thank you very much Nihar bhai. And I really appreciate the efforts which the Borivali Central Study Circle is doing, and the team which is there, the coordination, the speakers, and such a delicious food. So I was wondering after this food whether everyone will go to sleep or what, huh? Right? But great efforts, Sikandar, Aman, Shreyas, Vipul bhai, Kinjal bhai is also here from this study circle as a president of Bombay Chartered Accountant Society, the galaxy of past conveners and core team, seniors and my dear friends. Let us, we will run through this like very practical, as Nihar bhai has set the tone and given you the brief ki what type of cases are coming under disciplinary. So like more as a theory like code of ethics, but actually when we, why code of ethics are important and what is the reason, and that is more important is that we are like practice as in a way that it is very like, you know, nothing should happen. And once any notice comes, it is a huge stress. You know, the notice has come to the person who is not relevant only, as Nihar bhai has dealt in, right? Some X, it was some things done by X, but it is coming to Y person with the same name. So this kind of, and but the, see, when notice comes, huge stress. From where the notice basically comes. See, I have experience of, this is my 5th year in the council, and first year I was on the bench disciplinary, and then 3 years I was on board of discipline, and now as a ethical standard board chairperson. So during this board of discipline 3 years, we have completed about 6,000 plus matters. And this board of discipline is a constituency. We have 4 disciplinary benches and 1 more now for firms, multidisciplinary firms. And as a disciplinary committee, as Nihar bhai said, it is a constitution is 5-member bench. President or vice president is a presiding officer, and 2 are council members and 2 are government nominees. And these government nominees are either retired IAS or C&AG officers, people, or CBDT, past CBDT members. So these kind of government nominees are there. And council members are nominated from another region, so that there is no conflict of interest and independence is maintained. Whereas board of discipline, where all schedule 1 cases come, and which we have to be very careful, which are like routine, of routine nature, of practice where the constituency is only one board of discipline and the constituency is across India, only one discipline. So we used to travel across India and miscellaneous cases come. So how the cases, it is a form 1 with a small amount of fees, the cases complaint has been filed, and otherwise some miscellaneous, any mail comes against any member, then it is mandatorily that it goes to disciplinary directorate, and the actually the proceeding has to happen, and that is the rule says. And accordingly it goes to disciplinary directorate, and then it will come either schedule 1 or schedule 2, it will accordingly come. And what type of cases comes, friends? Now, what I have observed with my limited experience, Nihar bhai has more experience, but we have seen the cases comes from the regulators. So regulator may be say Ministry of Corporate Affairs, or it comes from CBDT. So during my first year, it was my first year on the DC bench, and first year as a council member also. So CBDT has sent around details of 560 chartered accountants, where and mentioned that they have done audits more than the prescribed limit. So what is the prescribed limit number of tax audits one can do? Yes, 60. Earlier it was qua firm, means if it's a partner firm of three partners in a firm, so one member, one partner can sign up to 180 tax audits. But now since this year, now it is qua partner. So one partner can sign maximum 60 tax audits only, and not qua firm. So this is a change which has happened recently. Now this 560 names of CAs have come from CBDT, that they have done more audits, and some members who are not having COP, they were members in industry, have conducted the audit. And then when someone has done some 370 audits, 500 tax audits, so we were wondering, so but now it comes from regulator, so no option but to send the notice to each and every one, all 560 chartered accountants. However, in that it has been noticed that few have actually done more tax audits, and then proceedings have happened. However, few members said no, we have not done. Few members have said no, and in that we came to know, this was like about 7-8 years back, all these audits for that year, and we came to know some signatures of some member have also been forged, and wrong signatures, and the stamps have been put. And because at that time UDIN was not there, now thanks to UDIN, that signature forgery cannot happen. So these are the cases. Recently, 4 years back, again the name of details of 200 chartered accountants came from Ministry of Corporate Affairs. For what reason? It was like they were involved in formation of Chinese companies. And again we were so shocked. Why you are, see what is the role of chartered accountant in formation of the company, right? So they don't know what is like the things are happening at their end. But then president at that time and like a team went to again the ministry of the ministry and said, why you are giving all notice to all chartered accountants? So then they said, so you send only those companies who are doing something, and if that CA is involved in that, why to send to all 200 members? That time they said what these companies are into, and then we were so shocked, and but then we had no option but to send the notice to all these 200 CAs. So then notice comes from SFIO, then from RBI, from CBI, and all these regulators, second level regulators, the notice, SEBI also sends the complaint. Then second level regulators like exchanges, if you are doing in internal auditor, excuse me, kya problem? So notice comes from the second level regulator also. Then this is regulators second level. Another type like CA to CA. Right, CA to CA, what happens? like majority of cases, the notice comes from because of no objection and no non-communication. Communication to the previous auditor, friends. How and why and when it is necessary, right? That is more important, right? Sometimes it happens 30th September is the last day for audit, and the audit to the new chartered accountant. New auditor is appointed only on 27th of September, right? And that appointment letter. However, it has been observed during the proceedings that he has already started audit 15 days back. And before signing the audit report, the communication has been sent to the previous auditor. So when communication should be sent to the previous auditor, right, before acceptance of the audit. And how? Earlier it was mandatory is like registered post, right, AD, registered AD. But now postal department has stopped registered AD. So now it is speed post, however acknowledgement due, AD is required. Sometimes it may happen that the previous auditor is nearby, so physical letter also can be sent, and email also can be sent with the register email ID which is there at the institute, can take the details from the client, who is the previous auditor. But it is important that what is mandatory. See, all these things will never come to, brought to the notice, or nothing will happen unless some dispute happens between the client and that previous auditor, or between amongst the client, and that time this either previous auditor or the new auditor, the notice has been sent. That is been observed. So it is like when in case of say bank branch audit, a lot of members are, lot of firms, mid-size firms, small firms, 2-partner, 3-partner firms are also doing bank branch audit. So in that case also, see, banks are in very hurry कि नहीं अभी का अभी acceptance भेजो, but अपना institute बोल रहा है कि नहीं, आ तो अपने पे क्यारे मोकलवानु, पहला अपने NOC लेवानी. NOC is mandatory. It is a communication to the previous auditor is mandatory, and reasonable time has to be given to the for this. What is a reasonable time? So it may be say 15 days. In some cases, it may be 7 days. In case of say bank branch audit, so you can always take the details of previous auditor and give them, please give this within say 48 hours or within 1 day, because you have to give that acceptance immediately. So you can convey to the bank, I am communicating with the previous auditor and will give this acceptance once I receive this, no objection from the previous auditor. So these are various ways. From CA to CA, from if the notices are coming from husband to wife, if a wife is CA, is coming to the husband if a husband is CA, right? Brother to brother. One case we have done, it was a north side, there are 2 brothers, and these both brothers are like 60 years plus, and the firm is their father's firm, single firm. Now one of the brother has son also qualified as a CA, and another son of the another brother's son was pursuing CA, and they were fighting, and both have filed complaint against each other. And the firm was very old, 75 years old firm. So these type of cases are also coming to disciplinary. Husband, wife, brother, CA to CA. Even CA is like having office in the same building. Then also due to some problem, CA to CA notices are coming. Then some notices are coming from say trust and cooperative society. Nihar bhai will agree. From trust or cooperative society, maximum notices, maximum complaints are coming from the cooperative societies and the trust. What is the fees, amount of fees, cooperative society? Right? And total fees may be less than 10,000 also, sometimes 15,000. But then what happens when there is a change in the chairman, secretary, office bearers of this society, there will be always 2 parties, 2 sides, and the previous and the new always have some disputes, and because of that they will send notice to the previous auditor also. They will change the new, this new team will appoint new auditor, and then because of some dispute they will send notice to the previous auditor. And this type of trust also, maximum notices. In trust also, some or the other thing happens, the notice comes to the auditor. In case of some bank audits are not done properly, the banks and the RBI send notice to the auditor. Opening of account, one peculiar case which I remember, it was a case that there was a forgery of about 70 odd crores from a bank account. It was some infrastructure company and the amount was awarded, and that amount has been deposited in this particular account, and it is a small, very small branch, and somewhere in 2-tier city, and amount has been taken away. And now the notice is being, complaint is sent to this chartered accountant. For what purpose? That he was involved in opening this account. And when we have actually done all the exercise, we called this branch manager. Branch manager was we summoned branch manager. The branch manager was transferred, and that Sipai is there. No, there are only 3 people. One was cashier, branch manager, and this was like Sipai, watchman kind of, on the entry of this branch. And what he said, this fellow chartered accountant was the concurrent auditor during the earlier year. And for opening this account, this person has got, this fellow chartered accountant had come along with this to open this bank account. However, he was not signed as an introducer, signature was also not there. But then also he was held guilty, and then punishment has happened. So what are the type of punishments? There are 2 types. For Schedule 1 cases, the impact for this kind of NOC cases, the impact is only internal and only to the chartered accountant. And for Schedule 2 cases, we will not go into it because we, with this time limit, the Schedule 2 impact is to the shareholders, because the standards on auditings are not followed, and someone is, auditor is signing, and because of that, the investors are investing or purchasing the shares of that company, and something is happening wrong and some frauds have happened. Because of that, it will fall into Schedule 2, and the punishment is larger. So what are the punishment? The punishment is either it is reprimand. Reprimand means warning. Okay, this is not correct. He is punished. He is held guilty. So there is a process. There is this entire set process, right? Once the complaint comes, I'm not going into details of that because we have to see what are the revision in the code. So either the punishment is reprimand. Once the member is held, either the member will be held guilty or not guilty. If the member is held guilty, the punishment range is like either it can be reprimand, means warning can be given, or monitor, or it can be like Schedule 1 cases, maximum is up to 3 months. He can be debarred from the membership, maximum up to 3 months. In case of Schedule 2 cases, the member can be debarred permanently also, and along with or only with the monetary penalty of for Schedule 1 cases maximum up to 1 lakh, and for Schedule 2 cases it will maximum up to 5 lakhs. So hope everyone is with me. Yes. So let us go through. See, these are lot of like 6,000. Each case is a peculiar case. Nihar bhai also would have done so this number of cases only. But we are here to tell you ki what one thing, preventive measures. Please, sometimes it happens. Cases are coming ki sometimes we are out of office and we are saying some article is there, some staff is there in our office, and we are telling them, हाँ उसका आया है, वो जरा आप digital signature करके दे दो उसको, correct? So gross negligence, the cases are coming for gross negligence also, for not looking into that, right? Sometimes, you know, sharing the fees. One case I remember of central region where it was held that member is practicing CA is like having a good client, बहुत पुराना client है, 15-20 साल पुराना client है, and he has come and is a friendly, you know, clients are always friends, हाँ, ऐसा हम सोचते हैं, correct? And then he came and he said कि मुझे घर लेना है कोई, I want to purchase some flat. So then CA said कि okay, I have one very good friend who is a broker. I am giving you that contact details. Why don't you just ring and he will show you very fantastic flats. So then he went and he went along with he found a fantastic flat. He purchased it. Now CA said, "अरे मैंने तो broker को दिखाया and they had some internal arrangement. So the brokerage he has given to CA. 50% of the brokerage he has given to CA. It is allowed? No. And then what happened? Who has filed the complaint? Who has filed? That client only has filed the complaint. Who is supposed to be very good friend. And then the member was held guilty, right? Because it came through this bank account and it was been proved. So these are the cases, like one has to be very, very careful, right? So that this kind of issues doesn't happen. So now this revised code, there are about 60 changes, 60 clauses in which there are changes, and each change is beneficial for the members. Each clause is in the beneficial nature. Nihar is also there, as like President has given him again this opportunity as being part of Ethical Standard Board. So each and every proceedings, he is aware how we are working as Ethical Standard Board, and I am glad. It is very difficult to chair when all these stalwarts are there. So, and again their guidance is there and we are working under the guidance. Friends, again, anything to happen in the institute, friends, it is not easy. It is again a long drawn process. Once it will be discussed in Ethical Standard Board, there will be group first, then it will come to the board, then it will go to the council, it will be deliberated, council will say some changes, again it will happen, then it will go for exposure draft for the public and stakeholders, then their inputs will come, again it will come to Ethical Standard Board, what are the changes suggested by the members, stakeholders, it will be taken up, it will be considered, discussed in again this board meeting, again it will go to Ethical Standard Board, council, and it will get approved. So friends, these changes in this Ethical Standard Board, this code of ethics is been discussed since last 4 years, and then it has been approved, and it has been approved in 11 December council, which were supposed to be applicable from 1st April 2026, and it has been published as the approval has been accorded on 27th May 2026. I have been taken the charge as chairperson ESB from 1st April 2026, and now these are the new things. So 1st April is very important, 1st April 26, very important date for this revision. Lot of work actually has been done by a previous chairman ESB, that is Chandrasekhar Chitle from Pune, and then we are driving this through. Friends, again this revised code starts with the shloka, which is Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha, which means that Dharma protects, and therefore it is advisable to remain within the bounds of Dharma. As Nihar has already set the tone, that what is ethics is internal, and if we rigorously follow what is our inside, right, then there is nothing, right, we have to teach ethics or say these are the volumes and all. So one has to follow it by all means, substance and by all means. So now there are 3 volumes. The earlier volume 2 is now become volume 1, and which is like all CA Act, regulation, and all council guidelines, like CA new logo with earlier only what blue tick, now blue and orange tick, like all these things are there in volume 1. where all schedules and everything comes. Volume 2 is based on ISBA as converged from 2024, and volume 3 is on sustainability, ethical standards on sustainability assurance, and we have published two separate publication on the summary of the decisions of last 6 years, which was earlier volume 3. I am not going into these volumes. These fundamental principles, which is integrity, objectivity, professional competence and due care, confidentiality and professional behavior, which everyone has to follow in their practice. Actually, we have given the examples for each and every fundamental principles over here. I am not going into details of all this. It's conceptual framework, apply the safeguards, 5 categories of threats: self-interest, self-review threat, advocacy, familiarity and intimidation. I'm not going into this at present because everyone is aware largely all are the threats and what safeguards one has to actually take care so that we reduce these threats to a considerable level. So we have given over here all these examples. These are the schedules. I'm not going into the schedules, lot of examples we have dealt, and these are like members is actually will be guilty in either of this schedule, and the punishments are been given. Punishment we have gone through. Now significant changes. Let us come to the changes. That also we will take very, very important changes. So management consultancy and other services. So now there are 4 services which are also been included under section 224 of CA Act. So forensic accounting and investigation, research analyst which are recognized by a regulator, and the assessment and evaluation like social impact assessment, CSR, BRSR, core and all, BRSR. And artificial intelligence consultancy in the areas in which services are rendered by all of us. So these all are included. Now insolvency professional entity and the valuation entity also has been now recognized. So CA can also be the member partner in these entities. That has been clearly now said. Educational audio video podcast is already covered by Nihar bhai, but I will just share that you can have your YouTube channel, you can post your video, but it should be in educational, for educational purpose only, where you can write your firm name also and your contact details also, which was not allowed earlier. The member has done, and she was held guilty also. That case law is also added over here. CA firm name we have already mentioned. TV, now when we go to movie, we see the name of a CA mentioned, which was allowed. So now in all documentary films and all otherwise also it is now allowed, provided it is in the same font type and font size where other names are mentioned. Virtual programs, nothing was mentioned earlier with whether it is allowed or not. However, now it is clarified that virtual programs are allowed. So some trainings if you are doing in your firm, you can invite not only your staff, but you can send invitation to others also, and it is now permitted. No restriction is on the category of the members or the people to whom you are sending the invitation. Firm name now BCS is there. They are having very good BCAS, that is Bombay Chartered Accountant Society journal is there. So earlier it was only name of the member was allowed. Now they can mention name of the firm name along with the member also. Or the partner, they can mention partner or proprietor in this firm. Network firm, again network name of the network is now allowed to be mentioned on the card, website, and where it was not allowed earlier. Communication with previous auditor friends, we already have seen that now it is a speed post with acknowledgement due is required. Advertisement guidelines have been, so now write up Nihar bhai also touched upon write-up in contemporary form. Earlier it was some font size which was, right, entire write-up up to same form. Now you can have your firm name in the bigger size, internal write-up, which services you are providing, that also you can have, and in the smaller font in different color. Then diagrams, charts are also allowed in the contemporary form of write-up. The directories also is allowed to put, however again it should be in the same format, and all these things are allowed. Your services also you can mention in the directory. Website on what is a push and pull mode, you are aware? Yes? Yes, very good. So non-assurance, there is a difference in assurance. What is a specific service for members? What is specific? Institute is regulator for what? Institute is regulator for audit, right? Audit, we are making standards on auditing, right? And accounting standards. So it is a specific service, specialized service. Non-audit, non-assurance service is like tax. Tax is done by others also, other than CAs also. And like other work, right? GST or FEMA, which is done by others also. So there we have thought, and even ministry also says there has to be separate code for audit and separate for non-assurance services, and for that it is like push basis is allowed for website on push mode is allowed for non-assurance, and pull mode is for assurance services. Again, advertisement, guidelines, write-up, directory we have seen, there is a case studies here. Again, earlier it was mandatory in the write-up to provide the membership number, FRN, these all have been dispensed with. Client's name, earlier it was not allowed to mention. Now it is allowed to mention in the, even on the website also. If it is a non-assurance service, you can also provide, we are providing GST services, name of the client. For assurance services, only name of the client can be put on the website or in the write-up. And again, friends, it is also required that you first, it has to be like permission from the client is required to be taken. It is not mentioned in the code, but it is a suggested. The website guideline we have seen. Photos, like photo is now allowed to be put on the website as a photo. Earlier it was only passport size photos are allowed. Now any photo like having a session or conducting a training, some partner is conducting the training or the session, it is allowed. Even on visiting card photo is allowed. Like we cannot put the, we have to see what type of photo now we have to put. No photo if we are going somewhere out and dancing and all, right? You cannot put, right? Because professional photo we can always put. So client name we have already seen. You can also add peer review. Your form is peer review, you can say peer reviewed. AQMM, if it is a AQMM, then which level, then network, name of the network, all these things are allowed. Listing based with application based service provider, again a GEM portal. You can now list for non-assurance services on the GEM portal. So non-assurance services can be actually uploaded or empaneled with some aggregator. We have CA Connect portal. How many of you are aware of CA Connect portal? No one is aware, right? So if someone sitting at say Mysore or sitting at Jammu wants to have some service and searching someone in Mumbai and Borivali, right, what they will see, we have our CA Connect portal. You can register, it is a separate website. It is again the initiative of ethical standard board. You can register what 3 kind of services you can put per member. You are expert in either GST or valuation or what all. Register your firm name, your location, and it can be searched by not only another chartered accountant, but it can be searched by others also. So now you can Google it, CA Connect portal, and register yourself. Now maintenance of CA forms, books of accounts. So earlier it was cash book and ledger, but now it is cash book, ledger and bill register also is required to be maintained. Yeah. આપણે અહીંયા આવે ને ક્લાયન્ટ લોકો, આપણા તો ફ્રેન્ડ્સ હોય છે ને ક્લાયન્ટ, કરેક્ટ? તો આવે એવરી ટાઈમ 15 સપ્ટેમ્બરના આવશે, આપણે ટેક્સ ઓડિટ કરતા હોઈએ છીએ, રાઈટ? એ આવશે, અરે હમણાં તો આપણે હમણાં બહુ ખર્ચો થઈ ગયો, ઇન્વેન્ટરીમાં જ અમારું પૈસા અટકી ગયા છે, રાઈટ? 3, 4, 5 વર્ષની ફીસ બાકી છે, પણ ત્યારે આવશે, આપણે કહીશું ફીસ નહીં, આ ઓડિટ કરી આપો, સો ધેન વી વિલ રિલીઝ ઓલ ધ ફીસ. But again, they will come on the next year, 15 September, થાય છે. And when we see, sometimes, and they are, ક્યાં હોય છે? સ્વિટ્ઝરલેન્ડમાં ફરવા માટે, એની માટે પૈસા હોય છે, માઉન્ટ ટિટલીઝ, right? Sometimes it happens, yes or no? Yes. So now the council has decided that the 2 years fees are pending. The member cannot do the audit if the fees for last 2 years are pending, and in case of PI client only last 1 year's fee overdue, the audit cannot be done. So this is also a welcome move. So you can always say કે અમારું કોડ ઓફ એથિક્સ જ પરમિટ નથી કરતો, તમે ભલે 1-2 વર્ષની ફી પણ બાકી ફીસ આપી દો. Audit assignments, we have already discussed about tax audit, but in case of statutory audit, earlier it was 30 and now it is 40 statutory audits are allowed. However, 20 is a limit for specified class of companies under Companies Act. Appointment of auditor when he is indebted to a concern, earlier limit was 1 lakh, it is now 5 lakh, up to 5 lakh loan is taken, then also the auditor for that company is allowed to be appointed. Self-regulatory may, we have discussed a lot in the council कि audit fees sometimes are coming several times, like some tax practitioner is there and they are appointing chartered accountant. It is for audit. Auditor is not appointed by the company or the client. They are doing various audits and chartered accountant. So lot of such malpractices are happening at some or the other parts in the country. So it was deliberated in the council that the audit fees should be only taken through the banking channel, either RTGS or check or anything. However, at present it has been decided to only have in recommendatory nature. The days are not far, it will be now mandatory over a period of time. So audit fees should be taken in only digital mode or through bank. Teaching hours already dealt, 35. I was also professor in Mulund College of Commerce for 2 years, sir. You may not be aware, Nihar bhai, but I was also professor. Amendment in corporate form of practice, there are several, website was nowhere it is mentioned, but now it is allowed. We are not going because majority are not having corporate form of practice. New CA logo, everyone is aware, that is to be used. No personalized logo, we have formed a group to have, if anyone wants to have a separate logo other than CA logo. At present only CA, that tick logo is allowed to be mentioned on the website, on visiting cards and everywhere. Certain revision in volume 2. So earlier it was professional accountant in volume 2, however in terminology in India is chartered accountant, so it has been changed, modified to chartered accountant. This NOCLAR is already been dealt. What is NOCLAR? Everyone is aware? Yes or no? So I am not going into it. So earlier there was a limit, but now there is no limit. So if anything is like wrong, then auditor suspects, then they can either bring to the notice of the TCWG, or in some cases they can directly go to the regulator and convey the same. And this is the responding with. The PI definition has been modified, and the certain class of entities whose functions are to take the deposits from the public has been added, and again the 500 crores So at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year has to be seen. So here the rotation of, for the rotation of auditor, this definition is very, very important, and accordingly it will be, rotation will be required to be done. Total fee dependency. Earlier it was there कि 20% of the fees, if it is taken from one particular client or group of a client or group of a companies of the same group, then it has to be required to be intimated to the institute. So now it is, the limit has been changed. It was earlier consecutive 2 years, now 40% of the fees, right, and again consecutive last 5 years is received from one company or group of a company, then intimation to the peer review board is required. Hope and the minimum fee size is revenue, minimum revenue should be 50 lakhs per annum. Hope I am clear. I am taking very fast actually. Time ocho ne pass થવું ને exam માં પછી ફટાફટ. Amendments, non-assurance. Right, pi entity, there are certain restriction. If the firm or a member is an auditor for pi client, then valuation services, if there is a self-interest threat, the valuation service should not be taken. And similarly, this non-assurance services like taxation services and all if should not be provided if there is a self-review threat. So these are like what type of taxation services should not be provided, or like tax calculation services should not be provided to if the audit of pi client is there. So these are all these kind of services, if there is a self-review threat, should not be provided. Similarly for litigation support services, same thing. So huge distinction has been made between assurance and non-assurance services, and this is volume 3 for sustainability assurance. So these are friends, we have this email ID esb@icai.in, where you can have, if you have any specific query, and on daily basis 2-3 questions or the query come कि અમારું આ થઈ ગયું, मतलब personalized query also come, and we are replying to those queries to all the members, and this service is there since last several years. And we have also come out with ethic quiz. If you go on ethics.ici.org, you will find this ethic quiz. You have to answer only 3 questions, and you will get your certificate, appreciation certificate for your knowledge on ethics. So you can go, today you have attended this lecture, go to the site and do this, and you can showcase this appreciation certificate on the knowledge of ethics to anyone and everyone. So I think I actually thank Borivali Study Circle for inviting us over here, and I really thank all of you, a good audience. And any question we can take up now. We have 1 minute time, right? That Guru movie is there, no? Guru movie. I will complete in this much, and then balance is our profit, right? So we can take any question, and any question. Otherwise, I always think there are 2 things. If everyone has understood, then there is no question. Or if anyone has not understood anything, then also there is no question, right? Anyways, it was a good interaction with all of you, and my appreciation to the team of Study Circle for doing such a wonderful work to serve the members at large, and this is really a great support to the institute also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nihar sir and Priti ma'am, for sparing time for our study circle and guiding the members in relation to the changes in the code of ethics and also about the new initiatives taken by the ethical standard boards of ICAI. I now request CA Shreyan, Vipul Bhai to kindly give a well-deserved vote of thanks to both the speakers. for today.
Hello. Thank you, Aman, for this opportunity. Madam, firstly, it is the first case where members have understood, hence there are no questions. So it's always a pleasure and honor to present vote of thanks to both these dignitaries, CA Nihar sir and CA Priti madam. Sir, in your opening remarks, you rightly said that Priti madam is main bestman for this session. Sir, but members will also agree that sharing your vast experience, knowledge and practical issues, you are always a coach for all of us. Priti, as rightly said by Nihar sir, that you are main opening bestman and you carried this session of code of conducts, and though upper limit was fixed, but you delivered success by sharing these practical issues in detail. So now, members present here, I request all of you to kindly present well-deserved vote of thanks to both them. Thank you.